The Mom View is sponsored by the Herzog Foundation, and this is going to be a great show.
Throughout American history, women have played influential and critical roles that have contributed much to the success of our great country. Today, two powerful women from Washington will talk about the roles they're playing to make a difference for families across America. But be careful, if you watch, you just may get inspired to throw your head into the ring, maybe run for office in your community. This is going to be great. Next on the Mom View.
Hello, I'm Josh Mann, Managing Editor of The Lion. The Lion is an initiative of the Herzog Foundation, and we publish articles covering a wide range of issues facing American families and culture, especially related to the education of children. In covering these topics, we also touch on aspects of parenting, family life, faith, government, and other relevant cultural topics. We publish news stories every day aiming to produce timely, critical, must-read news articles and resources for families, educators, and leaders. Read the latest in education and cultural news at readlion.com. We also offer easy-to-digest daily and weekly email newsletters. Subscribe today at readlion.com/subscribe.
Stacey Schieffelin is a mover and a shaker in Washington. She is the chair of the America First Women's Initiative. Now, this program champions women and secures meaningful policy wins that will reshape the narrative around women's roles in society. Stacey is also a passionate advocate for women-owned businesses, and she's on the Moms for America Board of Directors. Welcome, Ms. Stacey.
Oh my God, I'm so proud. I'm so honored about that piece. Thank you both for asking me to be a part of the board. It's just, I take a lot of pride in that. 500,000 women following you two women across the world, and I get to be a little part of it. So thank you, both of you. Thank you for all you do.
And I would say this, too, about Stacey. She has always been a great supporter of Moms for America.
Yeah, she's wearing, look at that outfit.
I mean, look at the purple.
She only wears this for Moms.
It's branding, girlfriend. You know, it's all gotta walk the talk.
Right.
Gotta walk the talk. No, I love your color of purple. It says so much about life. Energy. It's all in there.
Right. And I don't know if we should even mention that because purple is a combination of red, white, and blue.
Mm-hmm.
It is really
this
Bringing beautiful color. It has so much royalty to it and biblical messages to it. So we do love the whole purple thing. So you outdid us today.
Thank you.
All right.
No, you look beautiful, both of you.
Thanks, Stace. We know a lot about you, and we are super fans of yours, of course. You have been a champion of women causes. You've been championing also conservative principles, the Constitution, liberty, freedom, all of these things that are so important to us as moms. Tell a little bit about your background.
I think it's important, not only as moms, but as women in general, enlighten men. I don't like to leave our male counterparts out because so many men support Moms for America.
They sure do.
And when they hear Moms for America, they don't just categorize it as it's just a female position, although we know there's only two genders, one that matters. No, just kidding.
And we all know what a woman is.
We all know what a woman is.
Okay, you know that.
But so many men have empowered your organization as well, supporting you, sponsors. Like, think of Patriot Mobile.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jenny and Glenn's story, they just adore you. I mean, there's so many people around the nation that have gotten behind you and backed you. But I think what was so great about what you thought about from 2014 to today, I mean, let's move forward too in your history. All that you've done. I would have to say you're the oldest standing conservative grassroots coalition in the movement on the front lines for women day in and day out. I would say it 100 times a day and twice on Sunday. There's no organization bigger and better for the task at hand and the movement you're making. So thank you guys.
Thank you to the
for
founder
that.
over here,
The founder, sweet Kimberly. And I have to now brag because you've always remembered women. She didn't know I was going to do this. I'm sorry, I had to. I got to do that for my girl. This book that you and your daughter put out is just incredible. It should be in every library. It should be in every education system. I don't care, K through 12, higher ed. It is so good, Kimberly. I mean, just for people that haven't known about your book, do you guys just mind spending a second on that? Because I just love it.
Yeah, so Cassie and I have been talking about this gosh, it's been 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And there was a woman who wrote a book called Patrons and Petticoats. And it had a lot of these stories, and she'd done it in narrative form. And she was in her 80s, and I thought, well, maybe she'll pass it on to us so that we can keep the book alive.
Of course.
But she wouldn't budge. For whatever reason, she didn't want to sign over the rights to us. And so one day, Cassie was like, Mom, they're real people. She doesn't own the people or the stories.
Right.
We can rewrite it and write our own narrative.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So we took all the stories, real people. These are real women, real experiences.
Right.
And we just added like the narrative story to it to touch your heart. And we're doing a special class at Moms for America right now. 4-week series, the Hands of Heaven. And we're doing it every Monday in November leading up to Thanksgiving.
Uh-huh.
And yesterday it was The Power of a Story. And so I picked one of the stories, and of all it's hard to pick one.
I was going to say, how do you choose?
I know, it was hard. But I picked Mary Bell Washington because George Washington said, all I am, I owe to my mother. And so I read that story, and I couldn't even get through it without sobbing.
Right.
And all the ladies on the call were sobbing. And it was,
of course.
Because it's such a powerful testament to the influence of women. And all of these people who have tried to convince us that women were downtrodden and slaves to the patriarchy, and those ladies were pushing their men out the door, handing them a pen and saying, go sign that document.
That's right.
So they were powerful.
For life and liberty.
Yes.
And they did that, and that's what this book's all about. I mean, it's a great read, but I think it's a great education resource. Yeah. All the illustrations are so beautiful too. They're so well done. I mean,
the hardback.
I know, it's hardback. It's not paperback. You guys spent some money to do it right.
We did.
And I'm honored that you would go to the woman who's 80 years old and you'd ask for her blessing to do it. But sometimes people just don't see the bigger picture. Right. I mean, you could have collaborated. I think that's what's also so great about Moms for America, especially with your Mom's View. The show is amazing. Yeah. You guys have had such a huge following with that. You always bring other people of influence, other organizations, other coalitions, other grassroots. You never worked in a half as glass full situation. You guys say,
even though
we don't have time for
that. The glass is full, and we can all be together and work together. That's the unity and beauty in Moms for America.
And I think that's true when you're saying you can't be half full when you're trying to mother.
Oh, no.
And you're trying to influence the culture.
That's right.
And you're trying to save the country. Because if you're half empty, forget about it. So
Which is one of the things I just absolutely love this initiative, this Truth Initiative.
Oh, thank you.
Did you come up with it on
It's a team effort. Team effort here at AFPI that we just
brilliant.
Tirelessly to get it right. We're big about truth. Mm-hmm. So we took that as an acronym, TRUTH, and then behind each letter, so the first one is truth is in transparency of government. We've seen overreach. We've seen the demanding accountability of people that have tried to do the right thing, and we've also seen government overreach.
Sure have.
So what we want to see with the Truth Initiatives, we want to hold government accountable. Mm-hmm. We want official accountability by demanding that the transparency in school curriculum, the health, the safety guidelines, all of that be a parent's decision. I mean, you always...
Sorry, that's a little shocking.
Right. But that's what you guys stand for. And that's why there's so many Moms for America at your organization that are homeschoolers. Because they're like, we've seen after COVID, guys, the world's eyes opened up. We had no idea. You knew, because how many of your children did you homeschool?
8.
All 8. All 8. So first of all, huge. I mean, that you're a saint. Like, who homeschools 8 of their children and doesn't say after the first 1 or 2, I've had enough of this. I think I'll send them.
Neither of us can claim that one.
No. That is fully like the most stoic, unselfish thing you could do. In your life, you put 8 children, and they're all very successful.
They are.
They've gone on to do great things.
That's what people don't understand. It's home education. You don't have to call it homeschooling.
No,
it's
home education.
You're taking control of your education, your child's education, and giving them opportunities they wouldn't otherwise have.
That's right.
And a flexible schedule that you can manage instead of being dictated to. So it's actually... I didn't realize this when I started homeschooling, but it's actually easier to homeschool than it is to deal with, because every day they were coming home and I was having to reprogram them.
Oh, yeah.
And that was extremely difficult. But one of the things that happened after COVID is because everybody had to learn at home.
Right.
There were so many moms who kept learning at home. And I was at a homeschool days event at one of the parks. It's 2022, and all these moms were talking about, when did you start homeschooling?
Right.
Well, 2020.
Right.
Like, well, why did you keep going? Because I can do it better.
Right.
It's like,
But they didn't know. You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know.
Until you try it like you did.
In transparency, too, that is such an important factor in education, because that is what everyone saw, was that they were not having transparency.
Right.
That's when we took our youngest out of public school and put him in private. And that was revolutionary for our youngest.
Right.
But that transparency piece has been lost.
Right.
So thank you
Right.
for championing that.
No, we here at AFPI, it's all about how can we do what's right by a family.
You have to be
Yeah.
on the
It's,
team.
family. How do you look at your family? How do you perceive what could happen with them if we don't? We have to be advocate for our children.
That's right.
You ladies know that. I mean, I think most mothers and fathers know that no one's going to speak up for your kid but you.
Right.
And if you don't get in there and walk the talk and do what you know is right with your gut, it's all for naught. I mean, the second letter in truth is R. Yeah, reformation. And we are reaffirming roles for women in America and around the world. I mean, this is not just a cosmopolitan. Yes, we're America first, always. But we have to bring all our allies together and work together as one. So this is all about defending female athletes. This is a big one for you guys, too. Preserve fairness for women's sports, promote biblical truth.
Protect our safe places.
Oh, 100%. As I said before, there are only two genders. God made it that way. I mean, this is biblical foundations here at AFPI.
It's just the beginning of the book.
Absolutely.
It's science.
Kingdom and country.
Let's
And
say
in that
you
order.
don't believe in the Bible,
Right.
fine. Throw the Bible out.
Okay.
Hello, it is science,
It's
genetics.
yeah, it's true.
Two genders, two sexes.
And they're assigned at birth.
yeah.
They're assigned at birth.
They are God
Absolutely.
designed.
They're
That's
not
100%.
God
They're
designed.
not
Yep.
fluid. I remember when
Yep.
we held a conference years ago, and they said in California they're going to give children in kindergarten the option of picking their gender.
Yes.
And it was a whole fluidity movement. I can't even
Right.
say it.
That's right. That's right.
And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right into
And
kindergarten.
they
And this
just
is what
want
they're
another
doing.
turn on the swing and longer turn in the park in the playground. It's just crazy. So there was you probably saw the story that went viral.
Yes.
Of this woman who happened to be a lesbian. That's why
I
it
know.
makes
This
the
is
story
what
even better.
Right. To
Because-
each their own.
Yeah,
Right.
because they keep saying that well, you're not caring about the gay community. I'm like, here's a woman who is the gay community.
Right.
Who was in a locker room.
Right.
This guy is the fourth time that a man was in the locker room. And this guy's just staring at her, and she comes out of the shower, she's naked, she puts it on.
Sure.
And she had it at that
Yeah.
point. And
She
she's
was
calling
done.
him out, get out of here.
Yes.
And she's the one who gets thrown out and loses her membership to Gold Gym because of the laws of California.
Right.
Well,
and
they-
it goes to prove what happens in these sanctuary cities and these states that people need to wake up.
Yeah.
It
I'm
is
in
coming
Illinois.
to a town
Yeah.
near you.
Yeah, I'm in
Don't-
Illinois.
You're
I
in
see
that
it.
same thing.
And same thing at Planet
same thing.
Fitness. We've got, men and women's in our
Locker
spaces
rooms.
there. And so
It's not right.
people are not happy about it. And I don't know who is embracing this.
Nobody's embracing it. We've looked at the statistics here. We have a great
Right.
data
We went on
command.
this 80%.
80-20 rule.
Right.
80% of Americans, male and female in this country, believe that this is wrong.
Right.
This is common sense. Why would you allow a man in a female locker room?
Terrible.
Why would you allow it? We would never had that in our day. I'm 63 years old. We would have never allowed that in my time. As my parents would have went up to that school,
Right.
yanked my butt out of
They
it,
sure
and then
would've.
called his parents and said, "Why are you letting your son in my daughter's locker room?" And they would have handled it. It would
Yeah,
have
they
been
would
there
have
would have
really
been no
handled it.
government.
Yeah.
There would have been, we're going to
That's
take
what
care
we
of
kind
it.
of lost.
The perfect example of
Yeah.
the lunacy and the craziness behind this is the fact that there are so many men in men's prisons who are now identifying
As
female.
women, I know.
So that they can, hello.
No, we're not safeguarding anybody by doing that. That is awful.
We are
awful,
seeing
awful.
some wins with this, so I mean,
Yes,
obviously
we are.
President Trump with the executive order,
Huge.
and then Secretary McMahon.
Man.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's doing some
Our
amazing.
friend, at the
Yes.
Department of Education, you awarded her
Yes.
some years ago as a
Mothers
mother of influence.
And boy, was she worthy of it.
Sure
She's
is
worthy
mother
And
of
of
she's,
influence.
and she's lived up to it.
She's lived up to it, and she
So
doesn't
thank you to
forget
her,
it's
yeah.
a duty.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a profound duty as females, as women, that we protect the innocent. Even when under our Revitalize and Reaffirm Women's Rights, we even talk about protecting children's innocence with this eliminating gender modification. We know for minors, we have to safeguard and protect them from pet predators and people doing that. Physicians, in Texas, you lose your license. Your medical license has been, they are fighting that, and I'm waiting for the day that will be passed, that if a doctor tries to modify a gender of a minor, that they will lose their license. And
that
we
was
are
a law
pushing
that
for
passed.
it. It did
We
pass.
fought
You
hard
guys
for
fought
that.
on that, right?
It was
I
really
can't
hard.
remember what's passed, what's still in line to be passed and made
No,
a bill.
that
That's
one
it, girl.
passed in Texas, but it's still so hard to implement. So the
Right. That's the problem.
That's the problem why you're still seeing it. I thought it
Yes.
wasn't, didn't
Yes.
pass.
So no. Well, the medical having the I think they're trying to push the doctor penalties now because okay, you pass a law, but how do you penalize? And now they're working on the penalties.
Okay.
But we fought hard, and there was this guy that the one day. A bunch of these, I don't even think they were transgender. I think they were just paid to be there because they were men.
of course.
They had beards, whatever.
Right.
So this one guy comes in and he has no underwear on.
Oh, wow.
And he has this short skirt and he kept bending over so everybody would see his junk. And it was like, this is
No.
disgusting. And they started yelling and they had to clear the whole entire Capitol building. When they let us back in, they had sniff dogs everywhere and everybody had to turn in their phones. But our mamas still kept showing up every single day
That's right.
with their purple shirts.
I remember that.
And we passed it.
I remember that.
got it
And I
passed.
couldn't remember that it passed because I've heard since then people are still being
They
active
are.
in that at
Right.
hospitals.
They are.
And I think that's
Because
ridiculous.
they're hiding
Right.
behind it and they're ignoring the law. And it just irritates me because we spend so much time trying to go through the legal process.
Right.
And it was a completely constitutionally rightful law to pass and they just completely ignore it. They don't care.
Which you know, that's President Trump's administration.
Right.
He will do everything by the law
Yeah.
and our Constitution. And it has been
love
like that. And that's what makes us all so happy because at the end of the day, that declaration of our independence and that Constitution is all that really matters for our liberty and that the republic stays such. We are not a democracy. We are a republic.
say that over
we
and
have
over
to, and we
again.
have to, I think we can say it, but we need to educate people on what that means.
That's right.
And in the book, you're this Remembering the Ladies, it talks all about that, about how we are free.
Yeah.
Men and women, we are free, and we have to make the right choices. So the next you in truth is unity.
I love that.
That was one of your favorites, of course, because it's across cultural and political divides. So I don't care. I always say I don't care if you're red or you're blue.
Right.
We're red, white, and blue.
That's
I
right.
love that.
We are not, this is not partisan issues that we're talking about. Remember in Texas, ladies, when we fought to get the books with the pornography out of the children's books in the library and in their education, in their sex classes, their science classes, whatever they wanted to call them. We know exactly what they were. I remember when it came to the news, newscasters would say, well, we really can't talk about what's in the books or show images or pictures. And I thought, if you can't show that
Right.
on television to adults watching, why can we let children see
Exactly
it?
what John Rich.
That's right.
Oh, we
Exactly.
love John.
Yeah.
He's such a
so
patriot.
we
We worked
went
on a
through the
bill with him.
FCC
Yeah.
standard
That's
bill.
right.
And if you can't show it on TV or air it on the radio, you can't have it in the
surely
classroom.
That's right.
We worked hard on that. And then, so it was interesting because I did an interview, I think it was last year, and the woman was like picking out, and this happened with another group. This happened with Moms for Liberty too.
Oh, sure.
Where they were doing an interview, and they have all this list of excerpts, and like, well, you're just pulling out all of these excerpts of the books, and I said, well, if you take out the excerpts, I don't have a problem with the book.
Right, exactly. You can have the book. You just can't have what we think is not deemed right for our children.
Right.
Right.
And
And
so-
here's the other thing
yeah.
too, right? You can't go to the school and read it out loud.
Loud.
In front of the school board. They'll have you pulled out, and they'll turn your mic off.
Well, we
So,
saw that happen
come
with
on.
so many moms from
Sometimes in
America.
handcuffs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's when they really They messed up.
Yeah.
They should have never called us domestic
terrorists.
terrorists.
They thought it was going to intimidate us. Instead,
never.
it emboldened us.
And embolden us. And for a stronger, safer community for our children and our families. I mean, that's called educational excellence, what you guys have worked on. And that's a part of that unity, because they have chipped away and tried to divide us for so long that now it's time for Americans to unite.
And how do we do that, Stace? You know what?
Like
That's
what you're
part of the
doing.
problem is
Your
that
mom's view. You're doing it.
is
You're
there's so much
uniting.
division. We have to really make this more of a priority to unify the country. And I think this is what we're going to do in America 250.
US 250.
Yes, the
Is
bar, the
that,
tours,
you know, just,
amazing.
just the whole celebration of our country.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be a chance for all of us to
Lock
link
arms.
Yes.
And we've been doing that since 2014, but now it's really time. I think we get to a point as conservatives where we're used to talking and speaking a narrative just to ourselves.
Right.
Oh, you're so right about that.
the
So our
choir.
messaging has been wrong because for the whole of humanity, it's been right for our side because we can hear it, but for those of us that have friends or family members that have had their ears shut, how do we talk to them? I mean, you guys have developed so much curriculum. My gosh, your cottage, everything you guys do is just go to the website, everybody. Please go to Moms for America's website, because you will be amazed at the work that you guys do and the messaging and the framing and the branding that you put out there. But I just don't think enough people are hearing it.
Well, the media is purposely trying to keep us
sabotage.
out.
Sure.
Of course. And we owned social media in the early 2000s, and then 2016 happened, and they decided to take that away. But podcasts and the Mom View, we have found avenues outside of it, and we do something else. One of the reasons why Charlie Kirk was so influential is because he went to the campuses.
That's right.
And that's what we do. We go to the moms.
Where people
Yes,
are, and
we
you guys
go to them, and if they want to come to us, because they did a couple of conferences a year that people would come to them,
Right.
But he went to them,
Yeah.
and that's what we do. We go out to the moms in their own communities, and we meet with them, we talk to them, we inspire them, and then we encourage them and continue to support them after we step away.
Create a sisterhood.
And
Yeah,
it is.
It's a 100% sister. I've been to all you guys' conferences, and it's like a lot of laughing. There's a lot of crying.
Yeah.
Because we get emotional as women. Now we know how to talk, because you guys are great at media training your candidates that you get behind and support, and you so many won offices. I mean, my sister lives in Sarasota, Florida. You guys won like 11 seats in Sarasota County just alone. Women getting on education boards. We always say national is local.
That's
right.
absolutely
You
right.
can we're sitting here in DC. We can make all things good and try and make it happen, but really it's at a local level.
It is.
And you saw that more
in
than
your
ever.
community, it's your school board,
Yes.
what's happening in your neighborhood.
Which is why the left is pushing back so much, and now it costs more to run for a school board
Now
than
it
it ever
does.
has, because they're dumping money. I think it was actually in your county or an adjacent county where there was a young black mom who was running for school board
Right.
against an old white woman. And they put, was it $300,000
so
into her
much
race?
money, yes.
And the black mama won. Because she went door to door, talked
Yes,
to
she
these
did.
moms.
She
and-
walked the talk.
Yes.
She got out, met people, engaged, connected.
you can't buy an election.
You cannot.
And you've got to put the money in the right place.
Place.
Okay, so tell me what the next T is.
Okay, the next T is trust and goodness and our greatness of this nation. Our great
love
republic.
that.
So
I
teach
love
students to love America again. Hence why you've put together the
That's
250
right.
tour you're doing, why we've partnered with America First Policy Institute and the Education Department with Secretary Linda McMahon, which you guys are a part of and we're working on together.
Civics Coalition.
So the Civics Coalition with Katie Gorkett, we're going across the nation with Linda and the Education Department and you guys to do this tour across America to educate, to teach young people to love America and not hate it.
Inspire them.
Inspire them to get engaged and activated and be advocates for the real truth about America's history. Not what we've sometimes been told. We're going to learn about discernment and how to trust your gut and how question everything. I just say we've been given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We need to sit back and listen to one another more so that we can empower and inspire one another. And also, our veterans are important. Our first responders are important. We need to restore election integrity to protect what they're fighting for.
right.
Yeah.
What they
Why are we
sacrificed.
doing it if we're not exactly? And those that have come before them. So that trust in our nation's goodness and greatness is important, and I think that's the backbone of what you guys have taught me, and why it's one of our truth pillars. The next one is H.
H.
TRUTH.
Yes.
Health for our minds, bodies, and spirits.
Oh, I love that
and
one.
our land. Because if we don't have good food,
That's right.
we work with Secretary Brooke Rollins, who I love. She was our founder, her and Linda McMahon and Larry Kudlow of AFPI. And Tate Bennett here, that I think you guys are going to have on a show with you soon. She's with us at AFPI, and we help support and pull policies together as you do. Of course, Secretary Rollins decides on all things agriculture, but when it comes to the farmers and the ranchers in America, we really have to think about the land. We saw how much the CCP did a land grab. Almost 300,000 acres in America owned by non-U.S. citizens
Shocking,
around military bases.
That's and I can't.
shocking.
Like,
It's
why,
like crazy,
why did
isn't
they
it?
make the military? That doesn't make any sense
they
to me.
because when and not if, but if there is ever a time that we have civil unrest in our nation, they want to have the land wrapped around our military bases, and who knows
So
what
it's
might
not about
happen.
farmland. It's just
It's
about
not
having
location.
location.
And strategic location, exactly. And we've seen it in Texas. So I'm the proud president of the Richardson Republican Women's Club. It's been around since 1958. Some of the members have been on the team and in the organization for 40 plus years. They're an amazing bunch of women that get out the GOP, get out the vote, do all the things what we're supposed to. Sadly, in Richardson, Texas, which is a suburb of Dallas, in Plano, Texas, we've seen so much Sharia law. So we talk about the CCP getting around our land grabbing, and now we talk about in cities how this is happening with the Muslim influx of our nation's history, and how they're going to be. Look what happened in New York.
It's not compatible.
A mayor, socialist, Muslim mayor wins.
Islamist, Sharia law.
Yeah, the whole bit. Believes in all of them. And sometimes I just have to think, are we in the middle of a movie and this is a script, and is this to create awareness? Because it can't be really happening.
But it is.
I wake up and I say, what happened to our country? I mean, we have to expand our thinking. If we think that it's not really a religion, we give them a religious freedom to do and say as they please. But Sharia law is a law.
It is
We're
absolutely
the infidels.
contrary to the Constitution.
Thank
of the United
you.
It is
States.
not
Thank
And it's
you.
not, and not even compatible with humanity.
No.
And so this is one of the things, one of the projects that we are launching with some
Oh,
partners. Saving Civilization. It's something that Charlie Kirk was working on, and it's something that we need to repeat over and over and over again. What we are facing is the trifecta of
Yes,
evil:
it is.
globalism, communism, and Islamism. And it's not about freedom of religion, because
Right.
anybody who wants to be a Muslim can be a Muslim. and practice.
Absolutely.
But that's not what it's about. This
It's
is
not.
about infiltration
That's
and
right.
taking over. And I've seen the videos by ballot or by bullet.
Oh, yeah.
So we cannot allow this
We
to happen.
cannot, and we've got to wake up the American people. I mean, this is something. It's not, like I say, it's not left, it's not right,
Right.
And these shouldn't
and it's
be
so
political.
wrong. It is so
These
wrong.
are not political
They're not
issues.
political issues, so it should be nonpartisan.
that's
So as we go through this Truth Initiative, when we look at health for the mind, body, and spirit, we have to have that land in there as well, because we have to expand access to mental health care for women and mothers committed to higher food standards. That's important. So that's what Department of Agriculture is working on. And ensure clean drinking water and healthy land. That's what Lee Zeldin was a
This is so
congressman.
important
That's
He
to
was here at
moms.
AFPI.
I mean, come on.
Now he's running the EPA.
Right.
So 84 of our team went into the administration.
Can you? I mean,
I
think
I
about
pinch
that.
myself, girlfriends. I pinch myself. I'm like, why? I get to walk in these doors every day. And 84 of our people went into the work in the administration, either in the White House, which is 600 steps from where we're sitting right now,
Right.
or they went into an agency to help. Now, for 2
That is
years,
so admirable.
well, 2 years we were training. We had a transition team here at AFPI, and we trained over 1,000 people to either be an ambassador, to be a secretary, to be a staff in the White House. They came through these doors and for 3 days went through a program of everything we'd learned in our history that Republicans were never ready on day one. And President Trump said, I need people ready on day one. And we took the initiative to train, educate, inspire, and motivate people to walk in to their job day one and know how to run. This wasn't walk. You run to get the job done. And
Yeah,
that's
we don't
why our
have a lot of
president,
time.
look at him, the way he works.
And he is running.
He's
still.
running, he's running, he's running. So now we just got to keep our land and our skies healthy. This geoengineering that Tucker did a
Right.
interview just yesterday is incredible. It's been happening for years. We've been asleep at the wheel. On our watch, we let stuff like this happen. No more. No more.
Thank
I
you
love
for your
this. Let me
work.
go through this
Thank you.
again. So it's the first T is transparency, R is revitalize and reaffirm women's
Right.
roles. U is unity across cultural and political divides. T is trust in the goodness and greatness of our nation. And H is health for our minds, body, spirit, and land. I love this. This is an incredible
Guys,
initiative.
it means so much to me
So
for you
good.
guys to love it because you're my mentors. So this means so much.
No, you are to us.
No.
How would our moms find out more information?
You can go to text women to text women to 70107 and we'll be able to give you all the information, and we love for you to be a collective part of the group, and more to come. There's so much happening. We can't wait to share it with all of you, but we collaborate with Moms for America and we work here at AFPI as a team with you guys. So it's like you're in the big family.
Right.
do.
And we
Thank you,
love the
Stacey.
family. We love the family.
All right. Well, right up to this break, another Washington insider and a woman of faith will talk about how everyday citizens can change America by changing the political landscape. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.
America is under attack. Our families are being crushed under the politics of a radical agenda. But moms have had enough. We are standing up and we are fighting back.
This is our battle. This battle is every bit as important as the Revolutionary War because we fight for the same thing.
Moms for America is a national movement of moms reclaiming our culture for truth, family, freedom, and the Constitution.
I think Moms for America is exactly on track and is doing the right thing for the future of our country and our children.
Like, Moms for America is going at the heart of the issue.
But I am honored to join Moms for America today as we speak out against the horrific mandates.
With a national network of over 500,000 mothers, Moms for America is one of the fastest growing movements of women in the country.
Well, the most dangerous place in all of nature is between a mama bear and her baby cub.
We are the change. No matter what, no matter where, and no matter how difficult the obstacles are that are facing us and our families, we will not give up and we will not give in.
So if not now, then when? If not you, then who?
Welcome to the Mom-Led Revolution.
Terri Hasdorff has extensive experience working at the intersection of faith and politics. I love that. She is the chair of the Republican Women's Federal Forum in Washington, D.C., and she is the president of Capital Solutions Consulting. She is also the author of Running into the Fire, an insider's perspective on why more Christians are needed in politics. Love that. Welcome, Terri.
Thank you, Debbie.
You are special friends of Kimberly and I.
Yes, yes.
We're so glad to have you.
With you. Thank you.
All right, talking about the book, and Kimberly, we just said this is such a good book. I started this, I've only read half of it, but I'm going to finish it off.
Mine is highlighted. It has notes in the margins.
See? Running into the Fire. The reason I want to start a little bit about your book is because it is why more Christians need to be involved in politics. And that is something we don't talk enough about, especially women involved in politics.
That's exactly right. You know, about 64 to 65% of Americans identify as Christians. And yet roughly half of them don't show up at the polls. 15 million Christians aren't even registered to vote at all. And so when you start looking at those numbers, and women are, half the population, so many of the evangelicals that have voted in the past, a lot of times, have gotten confused or disillusioned with politics. And yet we see the need for leaning in now more than ever, because this is a time in our country where we're faced with things like socialism and communism. And one of the things that I talk about a lot, and I know, Kimberly, you've talked about this, is socialism at its core is about replacing God with government and freedom with tyranny. And we can't let that happen here.
No. One of the things that I think is vitally important is we recognize that the vast majority of conservative women of faith are not voting. Most aren't registered to vote. And of that mass number of Christians, most of those are women.
Yes.
So they are, and we know why they aren't voting. And we know why they tell us they aren't voting. And they say, I don't do politics. Politics don't affect me, and my husband votes. And you understand, we as Christians and good God-fearing women, we don't want to deal with all that nastiness that's going on and that has become politics. But the reason it's happening is because we've stepped out of it.
Yes, exactly.
So women need to step back in. And there's a quote in your book by John Adams that our government was made, the Constitution was made for a religious and moral people and is wholly inadequate for any other people.
That's right.
So that means if we step out,
Yes.
the void that's filled is not good.
Yeah,
No,
it's scary.
It is scary. There's a vacuum, and somebody's going to fill it, and it's probably going to be somebody who doesn't share your values,
Right.
or is there for maybe some of the right reasons.
I like to talk about the fact, what about women running for office? Are we picking up more women pretty much every year? Has there been
Okay, we should clarify. We have plenty of feminist women who are.
Conservative
Are we getting
women.
any more conservative?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, we are.
This is true.
In fact, this book has actually been an inspiration. I actually had someone come up to me just the other day and say, I read your book and now I'm running for Congress. And it really
that's
inspired me to do it.
awesome.
And that's the highest compliment that I can ever get, because that's the whole purpose of it, is to demystify things and make it not so scary,
Right.
and help you understand that, this really is something where the time is now. It's not, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country moment.
That's right.
And women are such a critical force in politics. Women
Could be school board even. I mean,
Yes.
we're talking Congress here, but this could go right down to being a trustee. I was a trustee. I was a county commissioner. Those are your local, most touchable aspects of policy and political.
And school board is where the
Yeah.
rubber meets the road. I mean, that's a place where, if you want to get fired up, just go to a few school board meetings, even if you're not a parent, and just start listening to some of the stuff that is being put out there. And very quickly, you start to get very motivated to want to get involved in politics.
So I ran for school board in 2003, and I was endorsed by, you wouldn't even believe, sitting U.S. senators. Virginia was not so leaning in the wrong direction that time. But state legislators, and I was like, why do you care? But the more that I learned as I was running, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the most powerful political body in the country.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And that's something where, once again, the reason I named the book Running Into the Fire is because when I ran for Congress, I didn't win, but I learned a lot. I asked a friend of mine who is also a Christian, why do you believe Christians shy away from being involved in politics? And
It's ugly.
Yeah, because they're afraid of it. They think of it as being dirty and corrupt. And he said, but what they really should be doing is thinking of it more like firefighters, people who are trained to overcome their fears. And instead of running away from the burning building, they run right into it. And I thought, that's it. And one of the things I love about Moms for America is you train women. You train them on how to get involved, and that takes the scariness out of it.
It does, and your book has been really valuable for that. As we have moms that are ordering things, we're sending them a copy of the book, or we take them to our events and highly herald this book because it's written so simply. And not only does it talk about the need for us to do it, your book outlines how we can do it. So give us some of those ways that you
how
outline.
and a mandate.
Yes.
Because it is a spiritual responsibility for us to be engaged as well.
It really is, and I think that's one of the things that in the past Christians kind of felt like, oh, the mountain of government is just something that, we can kind of relegate to the other side. We don't really want to get involved in that. And I'm like, no,
That's what we did in Hollywood. That's what we did in entertainment. We've done that in every aspect. When we walk away, the evil steps in.
100%.
Doesn't stay just sitting there.
Touches all the rest. It influences all the rest. There's something that I've kind of looked at and I talk about in the book, and that, we believe that politics is downstream from culture. And I believe it's the absolute opposite. Culture's downstream from politics. Look at the difference between just the last two administrations and the complete shift in how so many things have been impacted. And so who is in those positions of authority is just so critical. One of the things that I also talk about is the need for three things. I think we've really fallen down on the job in some ways in honoring the three legs of the stool when it comes to politics. And what I mean by that is you need to have the right kind of people. So what I refer to it as is being called. I think, you want people that are there because they truly believe they're called to do it and they're doing it for the right reasons. Right. Number two, you need people that are trained. I might decide that I feel called to go climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I'm not going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to need some training if I'm going to go climb a mountain like that.
And finances too. It's really developing and being ready so you can do your very best.
Exactly. But the third leg of the stool is supported. Yeah. And that's where the body of Christ has kind of fallen down on the job in a lot of ways. Because I may not be called to run for Congress, but that doesn't mean I get a pass. If I'm a Christian and I know that there are really good, godly people that are running for office, I have an obligation to support them. And that can look a lot of different ways. It may be financial, but it also could just be going to their campaign events, calling into radio shows that they're on.
Calling your friends and telling them about them. Holding an event in your home. Well, it's just getting involved in your local community. Involved.
I would say, too, your kids, my kids, they were all on the campaign trail.
They were our posse.
They were always going door to door. They were dropping everything off at the doors. They were helping getting signatures when they were older. Engaging your kids in this political process, helping them be a blessing. You've got an army, especially I had 3, but Kim had 8. That is very important to have them out on the streets and helping.
Yeah. Now I got my grandkids. Yeah. And I'm like, I'd like to watch your children on Saturday. Is that okay? We're just going to go walking.
Handing out.
Maybe knocking a little.
What about as we go into 2026? I mean, this is going to be quite the year. It's an election year.
Yes.
And we do need to be helping, supporting, like you said, the 3 legs. What are you expecting? What are you thinking as far as 2026?
Every election, it seems like it's the most critical election, but this one really is an incredibly critical election.
More and more.
I mean, you look at what's at stake. Most people tend to vote just in the presidential elections, and then they go, oh, I'm fine. I'm good for, a little while, and I don't need to worry about this. And it's like, oh, goodness, no. Because what's at stake right now is, in the midterm elections, that's what determines, first of all, if the House and the Senate change over, you could lose all momentum with what's happening right now.
You wouldn't just lose it. It will instantly just stop it. Not even stall. Stop
absolutely.
We can't afford to stall.
We can't afford to stall.
So I would agree with you. It is a critical election. Yeah. I do not believe it is the most critical election in our lifetime. I believe the last one was.
I think so
Why
too.
This one is so important is because we stopped the total dismantle and destruction of America with the last election, and now we need to keep going in the right direction, which means that it is pivotal, or we end up stopping everything that we just saved.
That's we really crumble quite a bit if we don't maintain or gain.
That's right.
Good, conservative, faith-based, constitutional leaders.
Yes. Well, and here's the thing. I know one particular member of Congress who won by something like 10 votes. I mean, people say all the time, oh, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, do you realize that we could lose the House by just 3 seats?
I know a state legislative race in Virginia 4 years ago that won or lost, how you're going to look at it, by 1 vote.
Yeah.
So
you see
one person
the country
really can make a huge difference. And I've also had moms say to me, well, I'm just a mom. What can I do? And my favorite response to that is, look, I'll take a fired up mama bear any day of the week over, the most hardened political hack, because they're passionate and they care. And you know what? They've got heart. It's all about what's going to make a difference for the family.
So I ran the McCain-Palin Victory Center in Ohio. It was really the Palin-McCain Victory Center, but we won't discuss that. Anyway, there was a mom who came in every single day except Sunday. She had 5 children. She was pregnant with number 6. Wow. And she must have been 5-6 months pregnant. She came in every single day, every morning, picked up a walk list, went out with her kids, came back 3 hours later with all the information. And one of the guys who was sitting in there making phone calls, he's like, I keep seeing you come in here. Why do you keep doing that? And she said, this is about my kids. Oh. And I'm doing it for them. Because I need to make sure that I preserve for them what I have, and I want to show them why it's important.
That's right.
I think too, to your point, either if you're not running, which is a big ask, you have to have a calling for that, right? And it's so not everybody runs, but everybody can help.
Yes.
And that's to what you're saying too. I think we've kind of lost a little bit of that, hey, we're a part of the community. Right. We want to know who's representing us. We want to know who's on our school board. We want to get engaged. We want to be a part of that. I think some of that's been lost, but we have to revive that.
Yes.
That connection. Yeah. Politics, there's consequences.
Politics has consequences. And I always tell people, treat voting like a job interview. Don't treat it like ordering food off a fast food menu, which is what most people do. They just, I saw those billboards for that candidate. He must be good.
I love the way she wore that lipstick. Oh, right. I didn't like that dress she wore. He wasn't wearing a wedding ring.
Or, it's even one of those things too. I'm going to vote for them just because they're a woman.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, that's not a qualification.
No, and you really
or
have to
even just because they're a specific party.
Right.
I mean,
or color,
either party.
Right.
I don't think you should vote Republican just because the person's a Republican.
That's right.
And we have primary elections to make sure that we're voting for the right person. Mm-hmm. And most don't even...
Because there are people who are rhinos. Unfortunately.
Big time.
And primaries are so important. Most people don't vote in the primaries. And I'm always like, oh my gosh, that's so critical.
The most important race.
Because in a lot of races, the primary is the election.
That's right.
And people just don't understand that. So it really is a critical thing. And if you do your homework on that candidate, you will be amazed at the differences. They really are very different.
We have a Mom Vote initiative where we, educate regarding the platform, how to get registered, why voting is so important, reminders, just all of that movement behind the Mom Vote, which was, we had Susie Wiles on as a guest, and she said, Moms for America and moms in general were so important in this past election. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, moms are, the ones who work the polls, get out the vote, do the door knocking. A lot of the moms staff the campaigns. And hey, guess what? There's even moms who are congressional wives who run the campaigns, help write the speeches, and are the most powerful lobbyists in Washington. So, moms are an absolutely critical force in politics and can do so much to shape this nation.
And you give so many ideas of how you can get involved as a person of faith. And it's just it doesn't have to be running for office. It doesn't have to be marching on Washington. So give some of those simple ideas that you present in your book.
Well, it may just be as simple as going down and meeting the candidate. Getting to know those candidates is really important, and it's not hard. They're going to put out plenty of events that you can go to and eyeball
they have
somebody.
Social media. People don't understand. Go to Facebook, and we're telling a lot of them now. If you want to reach the moms, post on Instagram too. Let people know where you're going to be. Yes. And you're right. It isn't that hard, and they have tons of events that they offer.
Yes.
Come out and ask those questions that are important to you.
Yes. And then I always tell people, write a check if you can, even if it's just $25. Because you know what? If you write a check to a candidate, first of all, that lets them know that you believe in them. And no matter how small the check is, as a candidate myself, when I was running for Congress, that meant the world to me, especially if somebody just gave me something that I knew kind of cost them a little bit and their money was tight. Because now I know, wow, you've got skin in the game. You believe in me. And it just makes me want to rise up to that challenge even more. It's all about relationships. All politics really is local.
It is. Yeah. That's why it's so important when you are running for office. It doesn't matter what level of office it is. You better have a good pair of tennis shoes, and you better have some backup pairs. Because the whole goal is to go out and meet the people personally.
That's absolutely right.
What do you think some of the most important motivating factors will be in this next election, or that makes moms want to get involved?
Well, I think the economy is definitely something that a lot of people are concerned about right now and watching heavily. And, we are definitely in a time where there's just been a lot of change. And President Trump has been, moving the ball forward. Sometimes you have a lot of things that have to be a little bit hard before they get better. And so, that's definitely, I think, something that's going to be discussed a lot. I think the overall just course setting for where we're headed with policy on the family side is just incredible. We've been, making a lot of strides in that area, so a lot of people are very, very happy with that. But I think those will be issues that will come up, the economic issues.
Well, and I think that's one of the reasons why our role is so important, is because if they don't understand what America was set up to be, when they don't understand the Constitution, the limited roles and authority that we've given, the fact that we are so beyond all of those limitations, when you see things starting to go back in the right direction, you don't know it's going back in the right direction. You're just like, this is making me feel very uncomfortable. I don't like this. This is affecting me personally. And we need to help them understand before those instances come up that, no, this is the way it was supposed to be, and this is why. This is why it's better for you. It's tough in the short run, but look where we're going to be in the long run. President of the United States has brought in $80 billion in tariffs, and people don't understand. Well, wait, why? Where did that come from? So if we can help them understand, that's how we used to pay for the United States government before we had the IRS. That's right. And then they're like, wait, what? So if we can educate them on any of those things, then they're already prepared and wait. We're going in the right direction. So while we're course correcting, I need to figure out how I'm going to navigate through it and vote for the future, not for the past.
Thank you. And vote for the whole picture, not just one thing, because people tend to fixate on one issue and they throw the baby out with the bathwater. And my point is, hey, look, you need to read your party platform. If you've never sat down and read the two different party platforms, it is very eye-opening.
Yes. And a lot of moms probably haven't.
Right.
And we keep challenging them, know what you're voting for and why. I have one other question I want to ask. And since Kimberly are here in Washington, D.C., you just talked about President Trump. He has put incredible women in leadership roles.
Yes, he has.
As far as the political scape. We've never really seen such rock stars.
That's right.
What do you think about just the team that's here?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. And it's
I
wonderful.
was surprised I didn't see you in there.
Maybe, who knows where you're going to end up.
You never know. Well, I think it's wonderful because, that just shows that we're balancing things out and that he's listening to both sides, and that makes all the difference. Women bring perspective a lot of times that just aren't the same as men, but men are incredible too. It's just you need both.
Yeah, I think about that when you say, Christians involved in politics, women involved in politics. It could be that you are appointed too, in roles of government.
That's
government.
Right.
So
and then you tie the two together. So let's think about that. Christians are critical to winning. Women are critical to winning. So women of faith are the most desirable, necessary, coveted group of women that we need to be out there voting.
That's right. Yeah. That's the nexus right there.
Yeah.
All right.
And I applaud you because that's really who you speak to on a regular basis, and that's what's so needed.
And moms are they're hungry.
Yeah.
They are hungry for other moms that are like-minded. That's why I found how I found this organization. You want to be with the sisterhood. You want to be, locking arms, joining hands, and feeling that support. So, it's really good to talk about it. But how do we get your book, Terri?
Oh, it's on Amazon. You can go to my website, godovergovernment.com.
Ooh, I like that.
But you can find it in Barnes & Noble as well.
Oh, wonderful.
And I just want to remind everybody that the first thing that the British Army did when they came into a town was burn down a church. That's how powerful this is.
Okay.
Wow. That is a powerful reminder right there. It's the people of faith that make the difference every time.
That's right.
That's where the battle has always been. Jesus knew that.
Yes.
Yeah, he sure did.
Yes, he did.
All right, we'll return right after this with some encouragement to our moms and the impact that you can make through your vote. Stay with us.
The Herzog Foundation exists to catalyze and accelerate the development of quality, Christ-centered K-12 education so that families and culture flourish. To do so, we've created comprehensive programs designed for Christian schools across the nation. One of those programs is found at readlion.com. The Lion carries news articles covering issues especially related to the education of children. These are timely, critical, must-read articles for families, educators, and leaders. Another program is the Herzog Foundation Institute, where we provide training for Christian educators led by national thought leaders in subjects such as marketing, donor development, and culture building. All training events are fully funded by the Herzog Foundation. And finally, with new Christian schools popping up all over the country, we've created a free online resource to help with the process. HF Schoolbox provides lessons and free mentorship to help launch groups navigate the startup process every step of the way. We're the Herzog Foundation. You can find out more at herzogfoundation.com.
Well, during the break, we were just talking about the spiral of silence, and you had a great thought to share on that because it was pretty powerful.
Sure. So, back in the days of the Holocaust, there was a researcher who studied this and looked at what she dubbed the spiral of silence, which is basically when you speak out against something politically, a lot of times there can be a cost to that. And the more people who refuse to speak, the higher the price gets. And that just goes on until finally the cost of speaking up becomes so high that people remain silent. And that spiral of silence leads you into a place where literally you can cancel an entire culture. And that's what we've seen in the past in certain ways, even in our own country, starting to take hold. And so it really is an important thing to keep from ever letting that happen.
Would you say that that was kind of what the goal was with COVID, with the vaccine, with the shutting down of all that? If we could begin to create people in silos and silence them, that it would be contagious. And it was to a degree.
Mm-hmm. And I think just the cancel culture as a whole that we've really seen, for a while starting to really take root. People were afraid to even express their own beliefs or opinions on things. So, this is a free country and we need to remain that way with our speech.
We sure do. All right, you got your book in your hand. Have you got anything else you want to close us with?
I do. I love to point people to the chapter that I titled The Hope in Going Local. And I think what a lot of folks think about when they think of politics is, oh gosh, this is so huge and overwhelming, and where do I even start? And what I love to remind people is there's just a little over 3,000 counties in America. I may not be able to change the whole world. I may not be able to change the whole country, but guess what? I can make a difference in my own county. And if you just start there and get involved with, who's my county leadership on, whatever party it is that I want to get involved in, who's my county leadership on the school board, on whatever it is that you really feel a pull or a passion about, I say start there. Start in your own county. Because guess what? County leaders grow up to be state leaders. State leaders grow up to be national leaders. And it really is something that you can influence and make a huge difference with. So it doesn't need to be so scary.
Doesn't need to be so scary.
Start where you are.
Start where you are.
And start somewhere.
Even your library.
Yes.
Or your park district commissioners. I mean, that's the local government, that I worked with too, is just that local body determines a lot of things. Your park district may hold drag queen story hours. I mean, if you're on that board, you get a chance to weigh in on that. If your library is carrying sexualized material for underage children, you can speak and be a voice to that. You don't have to run a campaign for that. That's a much smaller scale, but yet a very important scale.
That's absolutely
right. I don't know if you know this, but Debbie ran for township and served for, was it 2 terms?
Yeah, 8 years.
8 years.
Wow.
And then her husband was serving as the county board of supervisors, and he had to step down to focus on his work. So she stepped in, and she did that for 4 years.
That's amazing.
And it was all local. But when she was telling me some of the things that were being addressed, I'm like, wow, everybody thinks that this is like national issues. No, it's right in your own backyard. These are discussions that are being had in your own town.
That's right. And it's all relational. I really encourage people to get involved on both sides of the aisle. I'm pretty outspoken as being the chair of the Republican Women's Federal Forum, which side I'm on. But you know what? There's good people needed in both parties.
Absolutely.
And that's where I think this has, been so, there's a vacuum that gets filled by somebody, like we talked about earlier. And it's just, we need good people involved.
And politics is polarizing, but yet I feel like there is great healing coming.
Yes.
And I think we as women can be a part of healing America.
100%. And I'll also say this, no matter which side you're on, I think we can all agree that we want good government. Right. Good government at its core, which is basically, civics education, is something that we all want leaders who are honest. We all want leaders who are going to, care about the people more than themselves. We want the right kind of government.
We want
in place.
statesmen.
That's right. Yeah. So we can find common ground there.
Well, thank you, Terri, for joining us. We knew that you would be fabulous.
Of course.
All right, moms, thank you so much for joining us on The Mom View. Again, please follow us on our social media, which is at The Real Mom View, and our website is themomview.com. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, Terri.
Thank you.
Kimberly, we've had a blast here in Washington, D.C., so tune in again next week for The Mom View.